Hey, good morning. I'm a little late starting the stream for one specific reason. I got ready to start everything up and I realized I hadn't changed the now building thing that's right down there. So I went really fast and tried to find a picture of the box art for this kit that we're building today. And if you've been following along, the Zero Gravity Judge has been monopolizing the build stream for, I don't know, like a month now. But we're far enough along with that one. All I really have left is a little bit of detail painting and then top coat. So I've decided to move on from that and not probably show that anymore on the live build streams here, because there's not really honestly much interesting left to do with it as far as build streaming goes. I will finish it, of course, and I will post photos and such once it's ready to go. But today, I've looked through my backlog shelf and I found something that I thought would be fairly simple. And now that I've opened the box, it's even more simple, I think, than I had originally imagined it was going to be. So it's this Hyper Mega Bazooka launcher, the very big gun for the real grade Hi-𝛎 Gundam. And yeah, I got this quite some time ago and it's just been sitting on the shelf, so I figured it's time to build it. I do have the real grade Hi-𝛎 here. So I'll keep this off to the side. We can use it as a size comparison at the end when we finish the build, just to see how big this gun is compared to the mobile suit. I'm sure it's quite a bit taller, just having looked at the parts. So anyway, here's the box. It's actually, this is not the box, it's just the top of the box. You've been tricked. I already opened the box this time. I think last time we did a build stream, I actually opened the box and took all the runners out of the plastic bags and such here on stream, and that was kind of annoying sound-wise. So we'll go through real quick what the runners are, right? So there's a J runner, which all of these runners have just very large parts, you know, the barrel of the gun and such. There are 2K runners. Again, really only there's only 4 parts on this one and about, I don't know, 7 or 8 on this one. So not a lot of pieces. And then the L runner is the off-white color, and it's for the outer casing of the bazooka. And that is actually it for the parts that actually make up the weapon itself. The kit also comes with action-based parts, so we've got basically enough parts almost to build 2 full action bases. And according to the instructions, which we'll take a look at real quickly here, we're actually not going to use most of those action-based parts. So if we look here, here is the instruction booklet. It's quite simple. It's just a single fold-out thing like this. And but yeah, if we take a look here at the list of runners and the parts we use, a lot of X's on those 2 runners with the action-based parts. So really not a whole lot to do here. It's just going to be a few real big parts to cut out. I'm not sure even if on stream here we'll build the action base bits. Yeah, there's not a lot to do. So, but we will press on, get started. And I don't imagine that this is going to take very long. Looking at the size of the box, I assumed there was going to be more in there than there is. So we'll see. Not that I'm in a rush, but we'll see how quickly this goes together. And in fact, normally I leave the runners in the box. I think this time I'm just gonna sort of spread them out here around the build area, because that's all there is. There's these 2 and then those 2. And that is it. Those 2. And that is it. Everything's at a very large scale, for sure. So I hope you're doing well today. I am. It's a Friday. If you live in the United States, as I do, be safe out there. It sounds like there's some bad, cold, sort of last gasp winter type weather going through. Maybe not last gasp, because winter's still going on for another month or so, I guess, after this, but bad winter storm going through like the northeast part of the US. So if that's where you are, be careful. Where I am, it's just gonna get cold. Well, colder than usual. But it's not gonna... I don't think the weather's gonna be real bad. What else is going on with me? If you are on YouTube and you subscribe to my channel because of the Blender Gunpla video series, just a note that that is coming back again next week with the next episode. And so I'm looking forward to that one. I already have it planned. I just haven't actually recorded the video for it yet. So we've been working on a part for Zaku's shield that I'm designing, and then we're 3D printing, and yeah, I have the next segment of that all planned out for the next bits that we're going to add on to that. And so we'll be doing that next week sometime. I think that goes either way. I just kind of, yeah, it doesn't look like it was any specific direction. Maybe I'm wrong, because there is in the instructions a little... Oh, that's just showing me there's an undergate down there. Okay. There's a little arrow showing that, or pointing to one side of the piece, so I just wanted to make sure that it was not, it didn't have to go in a certain orientation. It does not. Other than that, here in my studio, for the last couple of days, I've been working on trying to refurbish a 3D printer that was given to me. So it's an FDM style printer. All my experience so far has just been with my resin printer, so this is different, learning about how that works, and it was in okay shape, but it wasn't in great shape, the printer that was given to me, so I ended up taking it apart, most of the way apart, cleaning up all of the mechanical bits to make it run just a little bit smoother, and then reassembling it. I had to replace the print nozzle, which turns out to be real easy to do, and then I'm working on trying to add a Raspberry Pi connected up to it so that I can control it remotely through a web interface, using some software called Octoprint, and that's going well, but I'm also waiting for more stuff to arrive from an Amazon order before I can really finish that up. Interesting. So that just slides on there, and then we put this in here. I gotta say, it's really strange when in the back of your mind you're thinking, yeah, this is for a real grade kit, and then you're seeing parts that are this big. There's a lot of good detail, and maybe that's what tricked me about the number of parts. I expected more parts because when I looked at photos of this thing built, it does have a lot of good detail, and I assumed there was more part separation than there is, I think. And maybe that's why I was expecting more parts, more small parts, you know, that go together to create the large weapon. Turns out it's just a lot of really big parts with good detail molded in so that you could, if you wanted to, pick some of this out with paint and it would be, I think it would look, you know, a lot more detailed than it does. That's upside down. That's never going to work that way. Fortunately, it looks like they've designed this in such a way that it hides like the potential giant seam line that would be right down the middle of this thing. That's hidden really well, so that's good. Alright, so there's the main sort of body of the weapon, and then we've got the barrel. Maybe I should go slower. This is going to be like the shortest stream of all time. I think, given the size of this build. That's alright. I have other things I need to do today, so maybe having a short stream is not so bad. And maybe when we're done, I'll take a minute to show you what's going on with the Zero Gravity Judge, because there are some parts sitting on the shelf behind me that have changed ever so slightly since the last stream that I've been working on, so I can show you some progress on that depending on how long this takes and how much time we have at the end. Yeah, see, so like I'm a little sad that this little piping detail right here isn't a separate part. Things like that seem like they could have chosen to do that with this kit. They kept it real simple. And we are going to have... No, we're not. I was about to say we're going to have a big seam down the side of this weapon, but I don't think we are, because this goes together like this, but this side gets mostly covered up. Actually entirely covered up, I think, by the big white parts that are up there once we put that together. There's one other piping detail here that actually is a separate part. Speaking of piping details, that is going to be part of what we cover on the next Blender Gunpla, on that Zaku shield part. I think. I haven't worked out exactly how I'm going to arrange it yet, but I do want to add a little sort of piping detail onto the piece that we've designed. So, as I was planning that out though, I realized that I have not... That goes this way? Yes, it does. Interesting. I have not done like a tutorial level episode on how to do piping details in Blender. So I think what we're going to do is just go ahead and make the piping detail that I have in mind in that episode, and then I'll go back later, have a more in-depth episode on how to do pipes and add texture on the outside of pipes and things like that. So it'll be a case of let's use a technique without going too in-depth into it, and then we'll come back later and explain it in more detail. At least that is my current concept. We'll see how that goes. Alright, this is the barrel, the end of the barrel, and I was trying to put it on upside down, but it's going to fit much better if we go this way. Is that it? Yeah. as far as what we need before this goes on to the gun, that is it. So this goes in here. Let's just make sure that that is sandwiched together all the way so that it fits nicely. And that's designed so it can't rotate, it only fits in one way. I guess it's good that I'm using the camera in its most zoomed out configuration because this is quite large. And I can already tell like the length of the gun that we have currently built. I don't think it's gonna get much longer. So this is basically the full length of it. It's like at least 1.5 times the height of the Hi-𝛎 Gundam itself. Just glancing over there and looking at the Gundam on the shelf. It's a big gun, that's for sure. If you haven't built the real grade Hi-𝛎 Gundam, I highly recommend it. It's a really, really good kit. Really well engineered. Amazing detail. Definitely one of my favorite things I built last year. I'm looking, staring, trying to figure out where these fit. Up here. They fit better if you line them up correctly. There we go. Simple enough. This one just snaps on top here. It does only fit one way because there's a little circular cutout for this detail over here on the side that does not exist on the other side. Alright, what else do we have? I guess we're going with this very long, this is like the outer structure that covers up the barrel on the sides. And this one is undergated. This gate here is extremely sort of thicker than the others, so I just wanted to double check and make sure that really is a gate and not a peg that I was cutting by accident. Alright, so that will go right on there, but first, it looks like there's another part we have to stick into the interior of it. It is this one right here. Alright, so this goes up here, right? Interesting. How's it meant to fit over that? I think it's meant to fit over that. Oh, I've cut it the wrong side. That makes more sense. I didn't realize there were two of these. And they are mirrors of one another. So if we grab this one, it will fit correctly. That one there goes on the other side. I hadn't seen the second one. I thought there was only one of these pieces and it like sandwiched in between the two. But no, this one goes on this side and the other one goes on the other side. All right, this will work out much better. So this goes on here. And really all it does is provide all of these little rivet details that stick out through there. I'm just pausing to think if I ever want to paint this kit, it's going to be a bit tricky to get this part out because it fits in there fairly tightly, but let's just go ahead and press it in place. If I really wanted to, I could, like with a toothpick, push on these rivets and probably work it back out, or maybe get up underneath those areas there to pry it out. Okay. We do need to do the other side before we put this all together, so I'll grab this other large housing piece. Alright, and we already have the other piece here that we need. Now what, do we just put these in? Yes, we do. They go the other way, don't they? Yes. Alright. Just looking at how these snap together, there's just a few very large attach points along the barrel. Big rectangular areas that press in. And the other side. All right. It's a big gun, that is for sure. I have to figure out what I want to do with, assuming that I get that new 3D printer working sufficiently. I mean, it works now. It's just not completely dialed in, so it doesn't produce prints quite to the level of quality that I would hope for. but I think I can get it there. And so once I get that done, then I have to figure out what I want to actually use it for. Because I use my resin printer for, you know, detail parts and things like that, and it totally makes sense for those types of things. So this other printer is better for, you know, big parts, things that don't have to be quite so detailed and such. So I will probably design myself a some sort of a holder for my tools, like a little tool caddy kind of thing, because currently I'm using this. It's just a little sort of wire basket thing that I picked up at a local store, but I've got my chisels and my you know, tweezers, hobby knife, pencil, paintbrush, toothbrush for rubbing away sanding dust, things like that. They're all in that thing, and it could be better, or I could create a, you know, the thing that's custom designed just for those tools, and everything would sit there and not flop around too much. That's true, Springer. I could design some display bases as well. I guess you have to sand them quite a bit though, right? Because it's always going to be a rough surface that you end up with when you print on that type of a printer. So maybe more post-processing than I'm used to with resin parts. Filling primer, yeah, that makes sense too. But yeah, definitely I think some sort of tool caddy specifically designed for my size and number of tools that I have. So like, you know, 6 or 8 scribing chisels, and then a hobby knife and a couple pairs of tweezers and that sort of thing. I will probably do that sometime fairly soon. See how that turns out. And see, I'm not familiar with that ironing. I assume from the name it's some sort of additional heating for a top surface that smooths things out. But I will look into it. I should be keeping track of the number of parts, because it's been very small. Much fewer parts than I was expecting for this build. Alright, so we have these 2 long pipes and what? These 2 little brackets that hold them together. I will probably go back also and reprint. I have a couple things sitting around here at my work desk that I had designed that are like custom mounts for I have an old phone camera sitting up there. Check it out. Oh, it's not even working. Let me unplug and replug it, and then we'll see it working. I don't always test it before every stream, which I probably should. There it is. As soon as it gets into focus. So I have a mount for that's sitting up here to my right. And I have a mount for my Stream Deck that is sitting just below it. And those I resin printed because that was the only printer I had at the time when I designed those things. But I will probably go back and reprint those on the new printer at some point. All right, let's see, these go a certain way. Oh, I see. And the little holes that they fit into here are keyed, so it's impossible to put them the wrong way. Yeah, the weapon is a full kit. However, if you missed the very beginning of the stream, these 4 runners that you see here on the desk are the extent of it. So I was expecting more parts than we have. It also came with a lot of action-based related parts, most of which it looks like from the instructions you don't use. But I was slightly disappointed after having seen photos of it, because it looks very detailed, and it is. It's coming out that way. But I thought there were going to be more parts than there are. Alright, so this, I turned the page just in case, even though it seemed pretty obvious what was about to happen. This goes in here and then snaps up underneath here like this. That's a very nice detail. I like how that looks, for sure. Yeah, you could. I mean, there's good detail. Well, we covered a lot of it up. So this gray part that's underneath here, that's like the main body of the weapon, had a lot of mechanical detail molded into these 2 large gray parts that sandwich together. A lot of it gets covered up. A little bit of it's visible down here. But yeah, there was good detail on some of the parts. It's just that they're all single big parts instead of being a little bit more separated. Like some of this, like this vent detail back here and this piece up here, you know, could have been something separate, but it's not. The scale of it's pretty insane though. I keep looking over at the Gundam itself, which is sitting here on the shelf next to me. And this thing sitting next to that is going to look just crazy big. Right, so it's easily 1.5 times as tall as the mobile suit, probably even more than that. I have to decide what I want to do with this build too, because traditionally with real grade kits I just snap build them and leave them as bare plastic. Sometimes I put the stickers on, sometimes I don't. But most of my painted projects are all master grade scale. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. Some of these newer real grades are so nice though that I build them and then I think I should paint that. Alright, so this round detail here goes on this side only. Oh hey look, my little mod bot thing yelled at you, Springer. I'm sorry. Especially because you posted a link to Gunplay Gallery. Like you should be allowed to do that. There it is. If anybody else is watching now or watching later, there's Springer's Force Impulse. I actually built, and that's the only RG kit that I've painted as well. It's probably down here. So that's my version of it, which I've since sold. It's one of the few kits that I've built that I actually sold. Yeah. But yeah, that Force Impulse was such a good build. I had that, like, after I built it, I was like, oh, I should do something with this for sure. But yeah, yours, I guess you got the water slides from a third party or something. It looks nice. Cool, yeah, the other real grade that I've built recently that I really want to do some sort of customization work on is the RG God Gundam, which is back behind me on the shelf there somewhere. That one is sort of, I think, screaming for some like custom color scheme of some kind, but I haven't yet imagined what that will be. Maybe I should do more customs of real grade or other 1/144 scale kits, just because they take up less space. I'm starting to run out of places to put my completed kits. This isn't an ammunition clip, right? This is some sort of power source, I guess? This is a beam weapon, if I'm correct. I'm trying to remember for sure. So like, yeah. This must be just some sort of something related to the power for the beam, is my guess. Yeah, must be power. There's also like a separate crazy power like generator thing that's these coils, and they go inside this casing, I think, which is actually separate, like it's not attached to the weapon itself. Alright, so that runner is done. It can go on the floor. I thought that one was done too, but it's not. There's one part left on it. Alright, let's put this on here first. That part there looks like a tall geese shield. And actually, scale-wise, it's almost the same size, I think, as a 144 tall geese shield. Just slightly smaller. Alright, we finished this runner? Yeah? Yeah. So we haven't gotten to the end of the build yet, but like we're getting real close, and I would say based on this experience, if you have this kit and you want like a super quick build sometime, just get this out. I'd been putting it off for a long time because I wasn't sure how long it was going to take me to do. But yeah, it's a nice build, but it's also very simple and quick. Three Goop customs. Why three? Are they all slightly different, or are you going to do something different with them? This is not a handle. Oh, I know. This is... So we didn't talk about it at the beginning, but this kit also comes with this wire piece, which I'm sure is going to go there, and it's going to connect to that like power unit thing. And then it also comes with this set of stickers, which are mostly just like red and black caution markings, and then a couple of little sort of reflective camera type bits. So those are the other bits that come with the kit that we hadn't looked at yet. Right, that makes sense. Yeah, I built that recently released Crimson Goof Custom. It's one of the few high-grade kits that I've built. I went through a phase for a while there where like it was so hard to find new kits anywhere in stores near me, but they had those backlog ones at Target, and so I picked up a few from there just because I wanted something to build. And those are pretty much the only high-grade kits I've ever built. And we are now out of parts. These last 3 that I'm trimming are the last 3 parts, with the exception of the action-based things. Yeah, so I think these are pretty obviously meant to be some sort of power coils up inside of this casing here. With some nice detail on the bottom, top, I don't know. Probably, well, maybe the back, yeah. Because I think it sits this way. Right, so we're not going to build it, but according to the instructions, what happens is this peg here fits into one of these bases like so. And then you have this wire part leading up to the rifle, and I'm trying to figure out where on the power unit here the wire part is meant to attach. Yeah, it looks like just the top bit right here. So there's like this little area right here where that can fit in, and then it comes up and attaches up here to the gun. So you get a look kind of like that. But for now, let's do a quick size comparison. Hold on though, the nubs here on the build mat are bugging me a little. So I'm gonna do the vacuum thing. I think we decided last time you guys can't hear this because the microphone doesn't pick it up, so. There we go. All right. So yeah, that's it. The stickers, you know, obviously are just meant to add detail, probably mostly on the white part, because that's really the only place they would show up. There is a sticker guide as well. I'll just show you right here. So yeah, this page here is the guide for the stickers. So here's our Hi-𝛎 and weapon. Just trying to figure out, like, how is it even meant to, it has the little tab. So like the tab that's built into his hand will slot into that. And then I assume this big piece here fits like up over his shoulder right there. Yeah, that'll work, but he's certainly not holding it up. It's heavy, which is why it comes with the action base. You're meant to prop the front of it with one of the little claw parts on the action base to keep it up and level, I think. yeah. There he is. And the power unit over here, I guess. So yeah, very big gun. I don't know that I have a lot more to say about it. It was a simple build, simpler than I was expecting, but it looks nice. And there definitely is the opportunity you could add some, either some greebling or some panel lining, especially in these white areas here, to add some detail if you wanted to. But like I think with the mobile suit itself, sitting next to it, like you want that to be the focus probably of, you know, any visual interest. So having the gun be mostly sort of plain but also functional looking is probably the way to go. So yeah, it was like less than an hour to build, even, you know, with some delays and detours along the way. Speaking of detours, here, let me grab these. So if you've been following along with other streams recently, the Zero Gravity Judge, which we decaled on the last stream, I've got some parts of it behind me. The paint is drying. I'm detail painting a little bit of this fluorescent green into a few bits. So like it goes on super thin. So it takes probably 3 or 4 coats to get to what you're seeing here. And I've just been doing it kind of as I remember. So I'll let it sit for a couple hours and then I'll try to remember to put another coat on. So this backside here is just a single coat was put on this morning. So these are back there drying. There's a spot on each arm and a spot on each leg on both sides of the arms and legs where I'm doing that. And then I think that's going to be it. And this thing will be ready for top coat and then, you know, final posing and photos and stuff. So that's the update on the Zero Gravity Judge. I'm super happy with how that one's turning out. It's one of my favorite things I've built so far, I think. I think I say that almost every time that I work on a painted build, so maybe that doesn't mean much, but this time I think it is really true. That's it. I think I am gonna stop for today. I have a lot of things to do and I still have to work on that printer that's back there. Try to do some tuning on that as well. So yeah, thanks for watching. You probably don't have the opportunity to pick up this weapon if you didn't already until it comes back around at P-Bandai again. I think it's maybe worth the price. I'm trying to remember how much it originally cost. It feels maybe a little overpriced for what it is, but it certainly adds presence, especially if you're going to display this thing somewhere and you want the giant gun with it. So yeah, I guess up to you whether you think the cost is worth it, but it's a fairly simple build, but a very large, lot of plastic, cool kit. So yeah, those are my thoughts. That's it. Have a good day. I will see you next time.